This is Jay.
This is Bob.
And this is Steve.
And we are Alpha Quadrant 6. We are a Star Trek Discovery after show. And, kind of weird, we're brothers.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think anybody knows that.
We haven't said it yet.
Yeah, we haven't said it. We are Bob, Jay, and Steve Novella. And you might have heard that we have a podcast called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. We thought we should also let some audience members that don't know that we have a podcast. It's about science and critical thinking.
That's right. But on this show, we're getting our Star Trek geek on. So let's start with episode 6.
All right. I had a lukewarm response to this. Mm-hmm. I didn't like quite a few decisions that they made. Some of the writing I thought was a little.
What didn't you like?
Mainly, I didn't like the communication, the Vulcan mind meld communication from a distance type of thing.
Yeah.
It breaks the laws of physics as I know it. I know that we're not in the real world.
Well, it goes through subspace, Jay.
Yeah,
We've already established that there's subspace that communicates instantaneously.
It's just too
they have
powerful.
Real-time conversation.
It's too, again, like we said before, it's too powerful. It's too powerful. Come on.
That ship has sailed, though. That's canon.
That's canon, the whole, Remember,
I don't have to like it just because it's canon.
Spock right? Put his Katra in McCoy.
That's private, Bob. What Spock and McCoy do in the room is, off screen. We don't even talk about that.
It's a device. As long as it's not widespread and everyone's doing it, I guess whatever. It's already in there. It's already in the. It's already canon. So work with it. And it was an opportunity to have some real, development between Sarek and Michael. And it was interesting. I always love seeing Sarek and the actor who's portraying him. It's always great to see them. So I was okay with it.
With those two was good. I like that, she thought she had failed Sarek by not qualifying to get into the Vulcan Expeditionary something.
Bake sale or something.
Yeah, the egg tossing contest.
Yeah.
They do.
And he actually failed her in that he said you could have one of your children, either Michael or Spock, get into the Vulcan Expeditionary bake sale. And he chose Spock. Who then chose Starfleet, and so he made the decision, and then neither of them got in to the Vulcan
really
fleet,
annoying.
And they both ended up in
Now,
Starfleet.
quick nerd geek test. Them mentioning Spock.
Yeah.
Did it hit your radar?
Oh yeah.
Was it super exciting?
Yeah.
Pay close
I was
attention.
just about to mention this.
Pay close attention. If it was super exciting to you that they mentioned Spock's name, we love you. You're a geek. You're in the right place. You're watching the right show.
Right.
Yeah, I totally was like, they said Spock's name.
They're throwing a lot of bones to Trekkies, to TOS fans, absolutely.
And it was cool to hear, Spock hasn't entered the academy yet, so I'm like, what is he, 15, 16? Picking Spock in that age is pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's 10 years before...
the original
series.
But wouldn't it be illogical to limit Sarek just one pseudo Vulcan in the Vulcan Expeditionary Swim
That's
Team?
Not logical,
come on. They're just.
Well, still, all right. So we're going to talk about the Vulcans and logic. We have to mention the fact that this episode brings up the fact that there is a small faction of Vulcan for Vulcan fanatics, that they don't like any mixing with these inferior races.
Logical extremists.
Yeah. They're racist. They're Vulcan racists.
They said humans explicitly. He said humans are inferior. I mean, so what does that mean? That you can only associate with aliens that are exactly at your level?
Hashtag Vulcan Pride. Bob.
Yeah, right.
And they were wanted to titrate the amount of non-pure blood Vulcans in the Vulcan fleet, and so maybe that's throwing a bone to this fringe group to prevent them from giving them something to chew on. Who knows? So there's Vulcan politics. You would think in a race 100% driven by logic there would be maybe discussions, but not really politics. But of course there is. I mean, that's one of the things about, even though Vulcans are supposed to be pure logical, they never are, and we know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you think about it, the guy blew himself up.
Mm-hmm.
That's extraordinarily extreme measures.
Right.
You can't.
Which was a cool effect. I mean, when he injected that stuff into see that glowing light coursing through his body and then through his jacket, whatever he was wearing, that was just a cool effect. I really liked how they did that. It was much more dramatic and interesting than just having him explode.
But that's fundamentally a illogical thing to do. He was doing it for its emotional impact, right? For its drama.
Well, he was trying to kill. He was trying to kill.
He was sacrificing himself. What you making a martyr out of himself? You do that for its emotional appeal, not because it's not for its logical appeal. So the logical extremists were doing something that was fundamentally illogical.
All right, let's get to the top of the episode. We'll kind of walk through it. So we have the holodeck scene. It was pretty cool.
Which was interesting to me because I'm thinking, wait, holodeck? This is 10 years before classic Trek. And so we were talking about it. There's no mention of it in classic Trek.
Right.
The cartoon's the first mention.
But the cartoon,
1974.
So and that's canon. The cartoon was canon. So okay, so that's fine.
And it's original series.
I'm good with that.
It's the Enterprise.
And it's such a fantastic device.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't canon, I'd say, what the hell, use it.
It became canon.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the idea, though, the two of them were practicing something that just happened to them to try to do a better job in that exercise, and it was.
Of course you would do that. Of course you would use the holodeck.
Yes,
for
and
that.
what an opportunity! Because remember, now they have more data than they've ever had about Klingon tactics and fighting and their weapons. So that was like, now we got all this information. Let's see how we do against these more realistic Klingon holograms.
Right. All right, which brings us to the new member of the Discovery crew, Lieutenant Ash Tyler.
Yeah, he's a security chief.
He's made the chief of security. There's a lot of speculation going on out there that he may be a Klingon plant.
Yeah.
Although I could see it going either way. Certainly that would be an interesting way to get a Klingon plant, onto the Discovery, and they're definitely playing a longer game then with that character. But I think it's also just an interesting way to get a regular character onto the crew.
Right.
And they're doing that. They're putting the crew together over time.
Yeah.
Where we didn't start the series in the Discovery with all the crew there. So that it kind of makes sense writing wise and from the point of view of the series either way. I like the character. I think he's interesting, and I could see how that character is going to grow. Going to evolve. Either way, I think it could be interesting, whether he's a spy or not a spy.
Yeah, I agree. I like the introduction as well.
Yeah.
I do like them focusing on certain characters in different episodes. It gives us a chance to really get to know different people. Like Tilly, the roommate.
Yeah.
We're starting to get to know her better.
Yeah.
And we're seeing relationship building as well in this episode, which is good.
Yeah.
I continue to feel the writing was just a little bit weaker than the last episode. Like the Admiral Cornwell, showing up out of the blue. Here's what
It wasn't so out of the blue.
Well, wait. From my perspective, Discovery jumps to this location where Sarek is ejected out of hyperspace. Right. The Discovery goes there. And then all of a sudden, an admiral, minutes later, shows up.
Yeah.
So she got word that he went there against orders. They told him, "Don't go there. We don't want you." And he's like, "I'm going there. Screw you." He basically told Starfleet, "I'm going there."
Right, which was a great line. Remember, he was talking to a Vulcan, and he's like, "Well, I'll go there and save your butt," which is a great line because they were trying to clean up the Federation's mess. It was a great line.
She got word of that, and she went there to confront him about it because she's worried about him.
Okay, but
rightly, because the guy's cracking up.
Yes, but how far away was she? I mean,
Exactly. If
she was that close?
Starfleet can get there that fast, then send a regular ship to get him.
Yeah, but they were investigating it because it was tricky. They were assessing the situation. He's like, "All right, you guys assess the situation. I'm going to go rescue him." So they didn't say we can't get there in time. It was bureaucracy. She said, "Okay, whatever.
That's fine."
Lorca's going there. He's defying orders. I have to check the. Obviously they have history together. We actually find out that history is romantic.
Sure.
They hook up.
I just
during
thought
the episode.
that she got there too fast.
She went there to personally assess his psychological stability, and this is where things get really interesting, right? So she decides that he's cracking up. I mean, I think in modern terms we would say he has PTSD from killing his entire crew, and who wouldn't?
Yeah, no, that's legit. I mean, she did kind of pull a fast one. You saw that the sands shifted several times during their exchange, right? So at first you're like, oh, they have history. Oh, wow, they're going to hook up. Hey, they hook up. Apparently you have to take your Starfleet badge off.
To represent we're off the clock.
I know, but it was like just kind of all right, fine.
And then they wake up post-coitus,
and then the best line of the entire series was dropped. And I quote, "You sleep with a phaser in your bed and you say nothing's wrong." I love that. I expect a Starfleet captain to have a weapon.
What's wrong? No, a phaser rifle, not a. But yeah, that was an intense moment where he's got some funky triangular scar, which was. Yeah. I'm assuming we're going to learn what the hell that is. Yeah. That's not a common scar. She just kind of touches it, and he just wakes up and bam, puts it right in her face. Yeah. So that's a hell of a knee-jerk reaction to being touched on the back, and that's what puts her over the edge. And she's like, basically, you're not going to be captain anymore. Yeah. And he's begging her. please don't do this.
I didn't like
and
the
she's
scene.
like,
I didn't like that. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
Why?
Because he was naked when he was talking to
Oh, yeah,
her?
that was funny. But partly because first, like, okay, they have sex, right? They're supposed to have but she makes a statement like, "You're not the way that you used to be," you know. But it seemed like she was referencing them just having sex,
Sure.
and there was
Like,
something wrong. As she she definitely was assessing him in their intimacy during the intimacy. And it just felt uncomfortable with that. I didn't feel like
I had no problem with that. But it was not only that; it was the phaser to the face. It was everything. She basically went there to reassure herself or to find out for herself: is this guy cracking up or is he stable?
Yep.
She basically, at that point, any doubts she had were gone, and she realizes he's not capable of being captain of the Discovery with its current condition.
very manipulative, though, and this is where I'm not used to seeing Starfleet officers act this way.
True,
right?
True, but it's wartime and he is on the flagship. There's only one ship like that.
Yeah.
That takes some
He's in a
extraordinary...
critical position. She knows him personally. She had to figure out for himself. And this is where the big thing, plot development happens in this episode, where she figures, all right, I can't leave you in charge of our one most important ship of the fleet.
Yeah.
We're going to have to find a way for you to step down.
And he accepts it like he has lost. He's like, okay.
Okay, well, but...
Right? That's how it seems.
But we saw the wheels turning. Yeah.
At the same time, so Sarek was supposed to meet with the Klingons to back channel with a couple of houses to see if we could start the peace process.
To clean up the Federation's mess.
Sarek, you know, the other Vulcan terrorist almost takes him out, so he's out of commission, but rescued aboard the Discovery. And then Lorca comes up with the idea: let's have Admiral Cornwell. She can take
Of course,
people.
and it was
she could go there. And I
how
knew at the moment
convenient.
I said that, it's like
She's dead.
First of all, she's not coming back,
Yep.
and he kind of knows it, or at least he knows it's going to sideline her for a while, and she may not come back. So then the whole thing's a trap. Her contingent gets killed. It's a trap.
It's a Trek trap.
She gets captured,
Yep.
and then Saru comes to the captain to say, "Hey, she's captured, so we're heading off to go rescue her, right?" And he's like, let's slow down. Let's go.
No, we have to follow regulations. And
Now
talk
we're
to
going to follow.
Starfleet.
Yeah, we're going to check with Starfleet. Now we're going to follow
But then-
regulations. Clearly, he's dragging his heels because he doesn't want her to be.
But
rescued.
the director really hit us over the head with a frying pan when Captain Lorca goes into his room and he's literally looking at his reflection in the porthole. You know, like, okay, we get it. He's doing this. He is a shifty bastard.
And then the camera pans down. He's got the phaser in the back of his pants.
Like, what was that for?
I
He was ready to use that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Wait,
right?
maybe he didn't know what the opening of the door meant.
Yeah.
Like they could have been coming for him. Maybe.
Right.
Who knows? Yeah.
Right.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
He's
broken.
Yeah.
He is absolutely
busted.
broken.
And
so
I love him.
yeah.
And I love him.
And Isaacs is pulling off that character so
God,
well.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
Of course.
He sells every
Such an
second
interesting
of it.
character. So I like this episode.
No,
it was a more
I get it.
complicated episode. It was a darker episode, and we definitely saw how broken Lorca is. Last episode, we were saying we figured out what a badass he is. In this episode, we learned how broken he is.
I did not like the tea antioxidant comment.
I agree with you. And this goes back to our other podcast where we talk about science and critical thinking. It's like they're using something which is a fad today and extrapolating it out a couple hundred years. It's like, that's not going to date well, the whole antioxidant thing.
Yeah, no, it won't. And on top of that, like, no matter what that machine makes for you, you want tacos, you want a ham sandwich, they're going to make it incredibly nutritious
they don't have
and
to
balanced.
say, by the way, this is nutritious.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
I
that's
didn't
a
like
little
that
much.
either. That was
Yeah, like you could probably eat whatever you want, you know?
Yeah. Here's a bowl of ice cream. By the way, this ice cream is infused with loving vitamin.
Of
and mineral.
course.
Of course it is. It's been synthetic. It's all going to be perfect for you. All right.
So
We're done with this episode because I think that I'd like to talk about a bigger issue, which is there's been a lot of discussion online about just this being a dark Trek.
Right.
Yeah.
A dark series. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you think it betrays the heart and soul of Star Trek? What do you think?
I don't think it betrays the heart and soul. It's definitely taking a little bit different path. But Steve, we talked about this earlier. That's kind of what sci-fi is really doing. Modern sci-fi, a lot of it is dark and gritty,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
I'm
That's
okay
fine.
with it too.
And people were complaining about the F-bomb that was dropped last week, and that just plays into this whole idea of this darker, grittier, more adult Trek. And I'm totally fine with that. Not only because I'm an adult, but because first off, like last week when they dropped the F-bomb. I mean, it's a dark episode. That cursing was actually, it lightened the mood a little bit. There's a little injection of humor, which was kind of needed, I think, and it was funny. I laughed out loud. And then if you remember, Stamnitz was like, he had a cool reaction as well. He's like, yeah, that was effing whatever. So I like that. Plus, it also is telling everybody this is an adult Star Trek. I mean, there's been more gore than we've ever seen in Trek. Some skin flashed, and now there's curse words. So this is an adult Trek, and I'm totally fine with that. It doesn't. Every season, every series of Trek does not need to be family friendly. I'm okay with that.
To me, it's not about family friendly. The backbone of Star Trek, there is a diversity backbone.
Right.
There is an overall humanity's success.
Yeah, it's a progressive,
right,
positive look at the future.
So, they are deviating from that. And
I don't know if they are. I think that's what the complaints are, but I agree. I think I agree more with Bob that it's a more complicated, thorough, and darker view of the world, but that's more realistic. And as long as they keep coming back to, but Starfleet's the good guys, these are the heroes. They're having a dark time. They're dealing with some difficult times.
It's war. It's war.
I mean, Lorca did lose his ship. He's legitimately like. Would Star Trek the original series when Decker, Commodore Decker, he lost his ship too.
He was mad.
He was mad. He was broken. But he wasn't one of the main characters. That's what they'll say. It's always a guest or another.
Right.
He was Starfleet.
But he was great.
Now we're just in with the people who are really.
But there's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
You could tell a sci-fi story that has those elements in it.
Yeah.
Right. But when we're talking about the heart of Star Trek, what is Star Trek? The statements I made are correct. That's what the expectation is.
Yeah, but Star Trek is many things. It also is it's cultural commentary, which means it has to stay current to the culture. You can't be commenting on today's culture the same way you were in 1970.
Yeah.
It's just kids are much more savvy with the internet. They're going to hear these words at a much younger age.
Right.
The F-bomb is not what it used to be. Other people have pointed out.
More of a firecracker now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's something else though.
McCoy was saying "damn" and "damn it," and that was probably similar to like the F-bomb today. If you go back 50 years,
I feel like I feel a little bit of this. That I like competency porn.
Yeah.
There was something about Star Trek, the original series, and Star Trek Next Gen, where they know what they're doing. They're a unit. They work together so well, and there's discourse here, and it is a little. I want them to be awesome at what they do and
We're
kind of
still
work
getting
seamlessly.
that, but you're right. The interpersonal stuff does take away a little bit from that because they're not a well-oiled machine. But I think that's okay. They just have to really balance that well. They're individually competent. They're learning how to work together, but they're also learning how to work with their own personal demons, which they have.
Yep.
It makes them much more interesting, deep, complicated characters. And that as long as they make it worth it, it's worth it. Right?
Okay.
So.
Look, I'm watching the whole season. We're gonna follow this thing
through. This is the
through.
debate I think that the internet's having about it.
Yeah.
Are we okay with this being dark? I'm okay with it. I'm with you, Bob.
Yeah.
As long as they make it work. And so far, I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Before we go, should we mention I think there's a little throwaway with Stamets this episode. The last episode, we got that Stamets in the mirror. There's a lot of speculation about, and I think there's even been some.
And he acted out of character in this episode.
He was very out of character.
And did he use the word groovy on Star Trek?
He did use the word groovy.
No, that word does not belong. In the script.
There's a little personality change in him.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The speculation is that we're entering the mirror universe from the original Trek this season.
What do you mean we're entering it? You're either in it or you're not.
Well, maybe the Stamets that we're dealing with now is from the mirror universe. This is not. That's why he's out of character.
Wait a second. Are you saying
they
that
swapped?
I got to say it like I see it. Okay. You're saying that the real one is an a-hole and the other one is the nice guy, the chill guy. Like, oh my God,
he's just pretending.
Yeah.
I mean, he whatever. The swap was made, and he was able to before he got sussed out. He was this may be the bad guy pretending to be a good guy.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what
Right.
he thinks it means to be good.
Yeah.
Who knows? But that was real. Stamets is out of character.
Totally.
Yep.
And I think that there's definitely going to be a mirror crossover this season. And
Wow.
I think we're gonna get some more of that next. This is sort of a break from that plot line. This episode, except for that little brief glimpse.
Yep.
I think we're gonna get it next.
Another
episode.
big thing too is Michael was made an officer again.
Yeah, science officer.
Now wait, can Lorca do that? Is that legit? Can a captain of a ship?
He's doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
so far he's like
Again,
he
if they
just,
challenge him, he says, "Hey, I'm on the front line, winning the war." And Cornwall pretty much said it, that the rest of Starfleet is impressed with your victories, so he is doing what he wants to do. He is empowered politically by his victories. As long as he keeps succeeding, no one's going to question his choices.
Okay.
Except for her.
Yeah.
And he
Now-
carefully maneuvered her out of the equation.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
he's a steel door. This guy.
Yeah.
He's dangerous. You might see some really cool stuff out of him.
Right. All right.
All right, thanks for joining us this week. Tell your friends. I know you have at least
Hey,
one.
next week, because we're at a conference, we're going to be airing on Monday instead of Sunday. We will be having a show next week. Don't be disappointed if you don't see us on Sunday. We will be doing the show Monday night.
And I won't be here next week, so someone, mystery guest, will be replacing
That's
me.
right. You'll be replaced by Richard.
That's
It'll
right.
be great.
Okay.
All right. See you next week.